Welcome back to another episode of the Soundcheck podcast. Adam Yokum, how you feeling today, brother?
Feeling good, dude. Feeling good. Was a little bit sleepy before this. Just took a good pull of the Old Forester that I got next to me here. Shocked
Love
the
it. God.
system a little bit. Feeling wide awake now.
Good.
How
So
are
much
you
fun.
feeling, Dylan?
I'm feeling good. It's been a bit of a long week. Feels like it went by really fast, kind of a blur, but feeling good. I'm feeling productive. I'm also feeling good because we have one of my very closest friends. His name is Jordan Smith, joining us on the podcast today. Jordan, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Dylan. I
Absolutely.
just want to say it's an honor to be on a podcast with someone who has some of the best hat merch in music, Mr. Adam Yokum. So
Let's go.
Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
Appreciate that.
I bugged Dylan for about a year to get a hat. So hopefully now it actually happens now that we know each other.
No way. Dylan's
Well,
been
no.
sleeping on getting you a hat, huh?
No.
Evil. Okay.
Jordan
Yeah,
was gonna
true.
come.
I don't lie.
Jordan was gonna come to your show in LA last summer. That was the ones that got canceled or rescheduled with Gavin. So that was the misconnect, and then things got lost in translation. Adam did just play at the Troubadour. Where were you?
I was out of town.
Okay, so this is not only my fault. Let's not start the blame game here. We're only a couple minutes in, guys.
No, I get
but
it.
we'll get
I
your
get
hat.
it.
We'll get your hat.
I get it.
I mean, look at it. It's fresh.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, I try to put a lot
fresh.
of time into just making the clothing something that people could wear even if they don't know my music at all. Like I want the clothing to be like you could never hear an Adam Yokum song in your life and still be like, "What is that? That shit's gat." So, that's a
Facts.
huge
For sure.
compliment, dude. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
A little bit of inside baseball.
Dylan pretty much has nothing to do with the designs, pretty much no help there.
Yeah, I mean,
No help
as
in
it goes.
sharing the hat.
Yeah, Dylan doesn't really have anything to add to my life either from his friendship or anything. He kind of just exists most of the time. So
Hating the way this is starting. Should we start over, dude?
you just didn't know that Adam and I would click this easily, and then it would just become a Dylan roast session. So
No,
we can keep it going.
I actually did know, dude. I actually did know. Because yeah, I'm super close with both of you guys. I try to surround myself with people that inspire me and put me in a good mood, and you guys are definitely a good example of that. So I'm not surprised.
We love
it.
Well, I appreciate you.
Love it.
Here's a little inside baseball. Jordan is actually sitting in my living room, and I'm in my studio while we're doing this because we wanted to make the visual still okay because we and Jordan were going to sit in a room, but Adam's in West Virginia. I felt like it would have just been weird. So we're kind of doing this remotely, but also not.
Yeah, if
I
you
don't
see
think
me
anyone cares.
If you see me walk behind in Dylan's camera at any point, it's because I'm grabbing another beverage, and then I'll come right back.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to get things kicked off and like kind of introduce you to, the people that are tapped in. Jordan is one of the hardest working people I know. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. He's a fantastic artist manager, a son, a husband, a tall white guy. He's a bunch of things, but a very valuable part of my life. And like I've learned a ton from him. From stepping into the management side too. Like I remember having a meeting with you and like, hey, I want to pick your brain. I think I'm going to start my own management company and like help a couple of my friends that are artists that I feel like I can add value to. And you just let me pick your brain, which was great. And it felt like I got off on the right foot with a couple things because I was able to skip some steps and just ask the right questions and had someone that I could trust to help kind of point me in the right direction. And you've always just been a great resource. So thank you so much, first of all.
Of course. It means a lot, my friend. Appreciate it.
Already know.
Yeah. I remember the early days of when Dylan was like, we were kind of in conversation about Dylan managing me. And he was like, yo, I'm interested in like doing this management thing, but before I would manage anybody, like I want to feel like I'm capable of doing the job. And I remember him mentioning you. He's like, I've got this friend Jordan who's been doing artist management, and he was like, yeah, like I'm interested in managing, but I want to talk to him and like just get my bearings about what I should be doing and like kind of a lot of questions that I have. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of full circle moment meeting you as well because I've been hearing your name in conversation with Dylan for like, I don't know, 3 years now or something, you
For
know?
sure,
So
and right back at you. Yeah, yeah. I remember when it was like when we had that meeting and he brought you up as like someone he wanted to work with and support. So yeah, this is a cool moment for sure.
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Happy to be here.
yeah.
Um, Jordan, you're from Pismo Beach, California.
I
A
am.
sleep
Those who
a
don't
sleepy
know,
little town.
sleepy little beach town up the coast of California, about halfway between LA and San Francisco, I would say if you're driving up the coast. Yeah, it's about halfway. It's a little closer to LA, but yeah.
How many men and women are there?
Each, if you could.
Each.
Mm, placing bets, gun to my head, 5 or 6 each probably. And now that I
Oh, okay.
moved, 4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. Alright. Alright,
No,
so not many.
it's small. It's small, but it still has a good amount of people. Like San Luis Obispo, California is a little more known than Pismo. It's to me, it's this one and the same. They're kind of all the Central Coast that people would refer to it as. But Cal Poly, Slow, San Luis Obispo, blah blah blah. It's all kind of one area. So it feels definitely like a small town. It's like a mini version of Santa Barbara in some ways, but definitely like everyone knows everyone type energy. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Gotcha.
Am I right? We
if we're
stayed at your
going toe to
grandma's
toe,
house.
yes, we did on tour.
Great
We
time.
crashed.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cool little area. Is there much of like a music scene, I guess, in that place? And like, you know, not to be like the corny, like, how'd you get started? But like, what
No,
made you
no.
kind of think that you wanted to get into the music world?
To answer your first question, there's about 0% music scene in
Kind of what I
Pismo
figured.
Beach and Slow. Yeah. There's a few cool venues, and then there's like one music festival that these guys put on that's grown a lot over the years called Shebang and Slow. But otherwise, hardly anything. Really cool bands, but like most bands that come out of there start there, kind of stay within the circuit and play locally. So I grew up playing guitar and like growing up there, like trying to, form a few bands over the years and, see what could happen. But for the most part, it was like not really sure what that meant or where it could go. And I was always like traveling outside of Slow. Like I said, it was like kind of halfway between LA and the Bay. So I was like going up to the Bay for a show to see an artist or down to LA to see an artist because they never played more often than not, never played in my hometown. So between like just being up on music and like one of my group of friends that's very close still to this day since like middle school, like we were all into music, and like I would say me and a couple other buddies were like very on and about like discovery and like putting each other onto cool new music and like riding the waves of new genre and new artists that would just come up. So that was kind of rare. Like a lot of people, they're knew like the big artist or whatever was kind of popping at the time over the years, but never specifically like finding new artists or discovery. So between like being that sort of energy within my friends or just in general, like playing guitar and being known for like the music guy in school, it kind of like just I always knew I was passionate about it. But again, I think growing up in a small town and having limited perspective, I was like, how do I do something in music, for my career? But I like didn't even know what that would mean. So, uh, a pivotal moment for me was like I went out to Berkeley College of Music for like a guitar program. It was the summer before my senior year of high school. So it would have been like 2013 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Went out there to like, if I wanted to go here for college, what that experience would be like. And it was only like a week program. And I was like instantly caught off guard by like how not good I was at guitar compared to these other people. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well,
this
at
is
Berkeley too, it's like the cream of the crop. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the big
yeah,
leagues. You know.
yeah, and it was even just the summer program, and I was like, holy shit, I'll never remember, or I'll always remember being in like the dorms, and my roommate for that week was this like crazy jazz guitarist, and I was like, I am an amateur compared to this
Right.
guy. And he would
Right.
just be like up late, like practicing scales. And I would be like, I have no business doing this like for a career or a job unless I get lucky and like am in a band that, we end up doing something. And I just am so lucky to be a part of it by being a guitar player. And I was just like, what do I do then? If I'm not going to go to school for playing guitar, and like kind of have to relearn the way that I learned, which wasn't like, reading music or
Mm-hmm.
that way. It was very much by ear and like figuring stuff out. So I'll never forget like laying in those dorms, like while this guy is like practicing scales and researching like music industry jobs or like jobs in music, and just like being like, what the hell is possible? And it was around the time when I feel like Scooter Braun was kind of getting into the spotlight as like one of the like first in our generation, I guess, kind of like one of the first like popular managers that was like, this is
Yeah.
what a manager is. So I was like, like I wonder what that means. I didn't really know. I mean, looking into him and him managing artists that I was a fan of, like I was a fan of Tori Kelly before he signed her, and then like seeing like, oh, him signing her, like what that meant or like how he was helping. So that kind of like started me off on a new path. That like led me to then going to school for music business, and then, X, Y, and Z. And, I don't want to long wind the
Yeah. No,
origin
it's good.
story, but like that definitely was like, cool. Like I want to set my sights on like the business side, and like however I can support artists and connect the dots for people. That's kind of been my MO ever since then. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And at that point, did you know anything about the music business, quote unquote, or were you just like, I like music, I'm just gonna figure it out and see what I can do?
Yeah, the latter for sure. I was like, I knew absolutely nothing of what anything meant. And the school and the program I went to was only like a year long. And I got really good surface level knowledge of like all these different facets. I had like music law class, touring, marketing, PR, management, like all the things. And so I knew from that, even though I was like, this still doesn't seem like very clear to me, of what I would want to do, that like I knew at least from the surface level knowledge of those classes that I was like, management or touring, that's what I want. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but now I understand at least, the scope of the music industry. So, yeah.
Dude, sometimes I feel like that's where a lot of the magic is born, when you have no clue how something works, but you just know you wanna do it. Because I
For
feel
sure.
like a lot of times when you're in that position, you'll take approaches to get there that, like, most people wouldn't. Just, like, out of, like, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to, like, manage an artist or something. I just, there's, like, traditional ways to do things, and sometimes when people go against the grain, they do something non-traditional without even realizing it's
Hmm.
non-traditional.
Yeah.
Those are the ways that it's like, "Oh, somehow this, like, randomly worked for me." Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's been the beauty of like, and it's so cliche, but like meeting so many people in music and their trajectory and path and how they got into everything is like, it's so different for like, I would say 80% of people I meet. Like it was not streamlined. It was not, you do this and get this and then you're here. It's like you just take a bet and like you fall where you fall and you pick yourself up and you're like, oh, cool. Now I'm doing this. And like
Mm-hmm.
that is the music business in itself, I think for sure. And it's a beautiful thing, if you embrace it, it can
so
definitely beat you down.
how many years at this point have you been working, in artist management? Or I guess in, like, music in general, as on, like, the
I've,
business side?
yeah, I've been working in the music business for 8+ years, and I've
Gotcha.
been managing artists on my own since 2019, but it was like towards the end. So I would still say like 6 years,
Yeah.
and then I've had a chill instrumental label for 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So between the two for the past 6 years, I've been doing it on my own. But yeah, 8 years, like, in the industry. The first couple of years were, like, getting my feet wet and learning and working under other people and all of that. So, those are very important. But yeah, for myself now, actually managing people, like, 6.
Love it.
Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned like everyone kind of has their own journey, and you bump into people that work in the music industry that just have kind of made their own path, whether it was on purpose or not. Everyone just
Mhm.
kind of has a different way to get to where they're at. Uh, what do you think some of the common variables are for the people that you deem to be successful, or people that have just kind of made their own way and figured it out? Because it's not random, right? But
For sure.
yeah, what are some of the, like, I guess, characteristics or instances that are
Yeah.
always kind of there?
That's a great question. I think it kinda goes back to what Adam just said is betting on yourself and taking the chance and, like, paving your own path, and that is like a broad term, but I think it can
Mm-hmm.
be applied in so many different ways of, like, whether that's within a company that you're working up the ladder for, like, whether it's a label, pub company, like, people that are so successful and, like, then have long-term jobs or, like, are able to move up in the ladder in a more corporate setting of the music industry are able to do that because they bring these ideas to the table and their taste and, like, this artist that I believe in is gonna pop off and I wanna sign them early and blah, blah, blah through whatever. So I think I'm friends with a lot of amazing people, and I think it's more common now than it ever was, especially when I first started, was the self-starter, the bet on yourself, put your eggs in your basket and your beliefs in your clients and, yourself to cultivate your team and, so on and so forth. That to me is like one of the most common things is I feel like you find success in is the people that, yeah, just, against all odds continue. And then I would say the second part of that is, related to it, but it's the consistency is that the most successful people I know that continue to grow and, break through, don't stop. And that goes for artists, that goes for the business side, that goes for anyone. Um, Real consistency in the long term and the overall scope and thinking 5, 10 years ahead instead of being like, oh, well, that didn't work out, I'm going to give up now. And while you give up, 700 million other people are continuing to try. And if you're the one that keeps trying through the mess of all of that, even through the major downfalls that that you find along the way, that you look back and everyone's journey is so different as far as, like, the growth of the graph. But I think for me, it's me personally, I felt like it's been very consistent where a lot of times I'd look back over 8 years and be like, nothing's happened, like it's been flatlined.
Mm-hmm.
You actually look back and I look back and I'm like, wow, that's actually been just very consistent, steady learning, not jumping the gun, not making harsh decisions that, flip the world on its head. And then I have to pick up the pieces in a bad way. And it's like, um, I think those people I've seen succeed way more and achieve what they want to achieve than the ones that are betting on quick, easy way, to make it happen for sure.
What you just
Very
said
much like
reminded me.
yourself, Dylan Reese. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can relate to that, and I'm sure Adam
Mhm.
can too. From an artist side, like, you just keep hammering the nail, and like shit's gonna happen. Even if it's
For
little by
sure.
little. Something that what you just said kind of reminded me of is something I've learned. Is to not overreact to anything one way or
For
another.
sure.
And I don't know if you agree with that, but it sounds like you do. Like, let's say
700%.
you have you have a song that's like connecting, right? And it's like, okay, let's spend all the money we have on ads and make sure that's like our biggest song ever because it's working. So it
Mhm.
has to be, this is what we should do. Or something's not doing so well or whatever, and it's like, all right, let's never do that again. Let's, abandon that idea altogether. And I feel like both of those are overreactions and can lead to what you just said of like making brash decisions and then having to go, oh, fuck, why did I do that? Because now we spent all the money on the marketing and it wasn't connecting the same way it was in the first month or whatever. It's like kind of have to like microdose those decisions into every bigger decision that you make, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yeah, I think that that's insanely key. And sometimes it is very difficult. I think we've all probably got wrapped up in it as we're learning and figuring things out and on any side of the coin. But I think, yeah, if you bet everything on the outside source, which is like you said, say your song is connecting, and then you're like, let's spend all this money to reach these people, still nothing is going to matter more than how that organically connected in the first place. And the fans that actually, whether it's the fans or the people you meet or the this or the that, that actually just happened because it was meant to, rather than, yeah, I spent all this money and, I still at the end of the day have as many people as I did before that are actually active and engaged with what I'm doing. And it, there is, again, there's validity to all of it on any side of like putting money and reaching people into your music and your craft and all this stuff. And like, not to like hyper focus this answer into like digital ads or spending on that side, but I think in general, yeah, it's like you can't go so far, swing so far, because then you'll just get beat down the other direction, and it's like, you got to know, and you'll only learn by trying, but like, you got to know when to action those things and at what level, for sure. So,
yeah, I think it's important to be reactive, but not overreactive. And there's like a big difference, and that could, that could fuck a lot of things up if you just have that
for
attitude.
Sure. Yeah.
Especially
People
with the
can't, you
wins,
can't,
dude. Like,
yeah.
especially with the wins, sometimes it's like something good happens to you, and if you get like too high on that, like I mean, it's happened to me. I'm speaking from experience of like, you go play a show somewhere, and it's like you sell out a show, or a bunch of people show up, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, like this is it, like life is good now, and then you kind of like think that you can just kick back and relax for like 2 months, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh my god, I haven't made any music and I haven't posted anything, and now like, and it can be like a snowball effect of like, if you get if you like soak up those high moments too much, you just got to have like an even keel with everything that happens. If something good happens to you, you just go, okay, great, like I'm gonna keep it pushing. If something bad happens to you, okay, great, like I'm gonna keep it pushing. That's the only way I feel like that you can be consistent. Because
For sure.
it's always like music is such a weird, like, volatile career where, like, at least as an artist, it's really, really easy to have your emotions, like, tied up in it all. Because,
Yeah.
like, ultimately, like, sharing the music is a huge, like, emotional sacrifice. Like, I'm giving a piece of myself to everybody else. So I think it's really easy for artists to be like, um, yeah, just so, like, ego and emotion charged into things, and it can kinda strip away like a logistical or like business mindset that you kind of have to hold on to in like an independent space as an artist. Like, you have to have a sense of like, I don't give a shit how things are going, because I have to do this and that to make sure the train continues to move. So
Yeah.
it's major key to just keep your head in like a very neutral place.
Yeah, and I
um
think you said it so well, like the emotional side of music, I think people forget so often when it comes to the vanity of it all these days, of the views and the likes and the streams and the, you know, and all of the things that quote unquote mean success, or could mean success to people. And I think that's like on two sides. One, how I've built my roster and then continue the people I continue to choose to support. It's like it has to connect within myself for me to be a fan of these people that then I want to help push and continue to support their career, as well as then the other side of that, how they are making these other people feel. And that can be good or bad or whatever, and it might not be for everyone. And the best label X, Y, and Z place in the world, quote unquote, that sees that with X artists that maybe have great success or consistent success or whatever it is, might not feel that way about your artist, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to feel that way. And it's about being consistent and shooting those shots to connect with the people who feel the way you do and want to be your champion across you and your artist champion across everything you're doing. And I think that is just, again, you don't get there if you're not consistent. You have to be consistent to find those people, those fans, those team members to expand your team, all the things. And that really is it's such a gut emotional feeling. If people are basing decisions off of numbers and stuff, which data helps a lot, and it's so important, but I
Yeah.
think the core of it is you're building a community and a space for these fans to go into your world, like you said, the emotion that you're giving them from X song or what you want to say, that then becomes theirs and how they relate. That you're like, yeah, there's something special there that no one can explain, that nothing can explain, that it gets so overlooked when people are so focused on like, is this going viral? Great. Now we hit this threshold. So we're then like dumping this in here and blah, 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 blah. When it's like, you guys can go on the road and tour and play a venue whenever you want, and you sell tickets. And that's a special thing in itself, because the
Yeah.
people actually want to be there. So I think it's such a valid, beautiful point that I really believe in, is betting on your taste and your gut and the emotion of it all, because music is that at the end of the day,
Very well
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, very well said. And it kind of gives me like a follow-up question that I was going to ask earlier, but feels like a good time for it. What are the things that you like, what check the boxes for you on wanting to manage somebody? Like,
Mhm.
are you, do you manage people just because like, you really believe in their music, or are you normally friends with them before you become in like a management position with them? How does that work when you go from, not managing someone to managing
Mhm.
someone? What is that like
Yeah.
process like?
It has changed over the years for me, as I think it should, as you become, more experienced or have more experiences, I think, with artist manager relationships. Um, but I think where I sit now, and then I do want to jump back to where I feel like is important in the beginning. But where I sit now is, first and foremost, I have to literally be a super fan of your music, because that is, like I said, like we literally just talked about, and like you said, perfect follow up, is the core of everything. It's the core of the business. It's the core of excitement. It's the core of fan connection, is the music and the product that you're making. And if I don't want to listen to you every day and love what you're doing and ride or die for your craft, why the hell should I support it on the management side? I don't know. So that is first and foremost for me. Um, Secondly, being human being level. So yes, I want to be, and everyone's stance on this, I think, comes and falls in different places. But I'm the type of person is I can't be just a surface level business person. It's like, I want to know you at the deepest level you're willing and open to. And I think for creatives and artists, if the manager can't understand you as a human, then they also can't understand when, hey, I have a rollout going, but this just got fucked up and I'm in a bad place. Like, we need to pivot this. And if you don't have that understanding for artists on a human level, I also think you shouldn't be in the mix with them. Um, because I think those two things play into kind of my third point, which is work ethic. If my artist is also not matching my work ethic uh, as a manager, and you're not seeing the relationship as a partnership, um, then those three things alone makes it the perfect, synergy. Everything falls along different, like levels of those three along the way, continuously, and things change as well, as things unfold. But I think the third point is what I've realized is low key the most important for longevity after now being in this for 6 years or whatever, then the other two, though, are the most important for me to be like, I can ride through the fucking grind of the years of nothing and the years of X, Y, and Z, because we're still equal and we're getting this right together. And I think if your emotional, you know, I guess your gut feeling and your read on people, if you're misaligned with your artist as a manager, then as you're building your team, because if growth is happening, that's a very real thing, is expanding your team, then you're gonna know or not gonna know, depending on your connection there. Do these people also feel that same way, and do, or either do they add something that we're not bringing, and they also are, all these boxes you're checking, to where they get it and they know, and then you can all be moving in lockstep. And I think that synergy there is like bounds important, for an artist to be surrounded by. And then, yeah, I would say on the other side of like where I was when I started, because I still think it's very important. And like going back to Tudo, or like first point of this conversation, is taking a bet on yourself and trying and paving a new path and like understanding that. I think when I was early on, I was just like, I just want to be the biggest support system so constantly for my artists, and helping see their ideas come to life. And other than the music and the creative and playing the show, like how I can execute and just be an executor. And I think I dialed that process in so well, on just like the checking that off the list and making this happen, and over and over and over again, that then I was like, sometimes though, you're doing it so often that you don't see when it's one-sided. And so that's what's led me to that third point, that I think now is like, the real shit happens when you're both doing that at the same time, and the artist is bringing and executing just as much as you are. And then you're like, well, I'm seeing this amazing growth now, and compounding, factors at play. So that's kind of, yeah, I would say for me, the biggest factors to all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a question I was going to ask too. And I wanted to ask it because
sorry, Dylan.
I wanted to ask it because I was pretty confident that I knew what the answers were going to be. And I just felt like it was going to be very valuable for people to hear that, because I agree with them like to a T. And maybe this whole entire podcast is just going to be all of us agreeing with each other the entire time. but
well,
like,
I think that's why we're Dylan, we've been friends for so long, and now Adam, we're going to become friends closer, and stuff. Absolutely. Too, after this. I know is because we see eye to eye on these things, and we're living in the reality of what actually makes like a really healthy working environment for being in, such a toxic industry sometimes,
Yeah, it's a crazy world, man. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were just like, yo, it was like an artist, and they're like, I'm trying to break into the industry. Like, how'd you get into the industry? And like, they're obviously very new if they're asking a question like that. But it's like, my goal has kind of always been to like exist outside of the music industry in some capacity, like just build my own little thing, because, well, I don't know about little, but just build my own thing and not have to deal with fucking psychos that I don't want to deal with. Like, whether that's like a label or whoever it is, if you have your own thing going, like, you can do it independently. You can sign if it makes sense, whatever. And I know some of your artists are fully independent. Some of your artists have deals, probably a combo of both, like in the past, or something you're trying to do. And it's just about what matters and what works for that situation and that artist and what they want. And like, your job is there to support exactly what that is, So I really respect your approach on all this, because I think there's a lot of managers out there that are just trying to make the most money, which, I'm not like pissed at anyone trying to make money, but a lot of times you feel like the longevity of the artist is not at the forefront of what their intentions are and like what their actions are. It's like, we could get a deal. Okay. let's do this record deal. But if it's like the artist isn't even sure if that's what they want, or maybe they don't know enough, and it's like, yeah, dude, we can get you signed for fucking $900,000. And then the artist is like, okay, yeah, if you think that's a good idea. And then that manager commissions that deal. And then the artist is in a situation they don't want to be in. And then the manager's like, all right, I'm out of here actually, because you're not working hard, or this isn't working out. And it's like, they just made a bunch of money and left.
It's a tale as old as time, you know?
And some people would say that person is like a good manager because they helped you get a deal and get money, which, like, isn't that, you're supposed to like build a business, right? But to me, and I know you agree with this, but it's like, how do you build a sustainable business model and get that artist what they want out of what they're doing? That's like way more important than any amount of money that anybody makes, you know?
100%.
And also, it's just like, that's why it's so valuable to be in business with people that you call friends. That was another reason why I wanted to, like, why I asked you that, because I also figured you would have a similar answer. Is like, you know, I know there's some artists that listen to this podcast, and it's like, I'm sure there's people that are like, how do I get a manager? Like, I need a manager. And I think it's just good to hear that when that time comes for some artists, dude, like, just go with someone who's your friend, you know, because they're going to be the person who, has a vision for like 10 or 15 years of building a thing with you, rather than just like, how can I just get a quick bag and then be out the door in a couple years? And those deals, or whatever the situation, even if it's not a deal, even if it's just like wasting time with the wrong person, that can take years of like recovering, digging yourself out of some hole that someone else led you down. um and I mean, obviously your friends can do that too, I guess, but it's way less likely that a friend is gonna fuck you over, you know? So, um,
Yeah, I think having that, and even if, again, you say you start off with a friend, and like, whether they learn and dive in as much as you are and grow with you and like discover all the ins and outs of the industry, and they become your guy, you know, your person through and through, ideal. But even if that doesn't happen and they still provide something that's very special and genuine to you, if you're expanding your team, having someone like that around, whether it's a co-management thing or someone else is managing you, but they're still involved in the touring, you know, again, there's so many variables of how it shakes out. But that person who gets you from day one and cares enough to understand you on the level that sees the longevity of it all, it's so important to surround yourself with that. As an artist and creative, because yes, every time someone's getting, you know, looks and eyes are on you and blah, 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 so many people come out of the woodwork. And having, again, like I said, that alignment on ego and alignment on who you think is best representing you in the situation is so key and important, for sure. So you end up in a place where you want to be, even if it takes longer, you know.
Let me ask you this: out of all the artists that you manage now, or maybe have managed in the past, how many of them came to you and was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a manager. You want to do it?"
One.
My guess was going to be 0. So the fact that there's one is not surprising, because I mean, I guess
the only reason it's 1, which is funny because it's Michael, how we met is through this artist, the Holdup, who I manage, Dylan.
Never heard of him.
If you know Dylan, gone on the road with so many times. Mike and I had a meeting for something else, and then him and his manager parted ways, but he remembered.
That's right.
that
I know this story. That's right.
Exactly. So he came to me and was like, "Hey, I remember your manager. I'm looking for someone. Would you be open to having that conversation?" But it wasn't like, "I want you to manage me." It was kind of like, "I'm putting my feelers out. Would you want to be in conversation?" And I was like, "Of course. I've been a fan of you since high school. Of course I'm going to have that
That's
conversation."
what I was going to say. It's not like you were just like, well, who's this guy? How much money is he making? All right, I'll
exactly.
do it. You were like, yo, actually, like, I love your shit, bro. So, like, let's do it.
For sure. Yeah. And then, fast forward 6 years or whatever. He was one of my best men in my wedding. Like, that's my brother for life, you know? So it's like he became my best friend through working with him. Um, and I think too, that was a point I was going to make, Adam, because I think it's very important, is that a friend managing you, whether in any capacity, that friend still needs conviction to speak up and challenge you. It can't be the friend who's always the yes man. If you're the yes man and you're just like, yeah, ride or die, like, I got you, dog. Like, always, like, through and through, this is it, whatever you want. Those people are cool and important and, like, great, have them around. They bring the energy, they bring really, solid,
they can't always
support.
be the decision maker, though.
Yeah, but they can't be the decision maker. You need
Gotta
to
go
be
both ways.
Yeah, you need to be the devil's advocate as a manager, just as if the manager has ideas, your artist needs to be the devil's advocate, and then you find the best sweet spot because you turn the stones over and you're looking for the perfect path that you can be on, versus just someone that's like, yep, I got you, on to the next thing. Yeah, easy. And then you're like doing all of these things and it's like, what was that even for, if you look back on it? So
Right.
that I've had to learn for sure. Again, I was the executor in the beginning. I was the yes man. I wanted to support, but I've learned how to be confident in raising opinion and also it's like, you can raise the opinion, you can challenge the thinking, and it's okay if you're wrong on either side. You can't have an ego about, oh, they didn't like that idea. What am I even here for? It's like, no, you keep shooting the shot and, picking away to, like, find the things along the way. And that's going to change. It's all relative. But I think that is very important for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like one time Dylan didn't like one of my hat designs, so I showed him my unregistered firearm. Okay.
There's no way that your hat design was ever not fire. Okay, going back to the beginning. So Dylan was tripping on that one.
It's funny because I'm probably the one who fucking did it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
No, it's so true, dude. It's gotta be honest both ways. No ego, major key. And as long as, like, both parties understand that there's a common goal, a common mission, then those things should go out the window.
For sure.
I think part of the reason why Adam and I work well together is because we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, and I feel like we share the same, like, long-term thinking for the most part. But also, like, we've had disagreements, or, like, he's challenging my idea or vice versa, and it never ends in, like, dude, like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, or, like, there's never any ego in it, like you said. So I feel like we've had so many of those productive conversations that just feels like we're both doing what we're supposed to be doing, and it ends in a better result,
Oh, dude, Michael and I have gone toe to toe so many times.
I've been in the room for it. I already know.
Yeah. There's but then again, I'm still here 6 years later.
Yeah,
because
it's all for the better.
We learn and we challenge each other, and Mike was a very big part of me finding my self-worth outside of because I was working under another company while I was starting to manage people. So finding my self-worth for myself and in my business, and then the thing that I believed in and wanted, more than anything, was doing that full-time, managing artists. And Mike was a big part in championing me early on, before we even really knew each other that well, to be like, you don't need this if you don't want it, because you're good at these things and that can take you this far. And again, like, even the other job, like, wasn't even it was a great thing. Like, it was an amazing thing. It wasn't toxic at all, but I was just like, it was different than what I was doing. So I was like, you can do these things and place bets here. And Michael's always been very good about that. Again, like, seeing through the shit, and just being like, look, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that is very important too, when it comes to that artist manager relationship, or anyone on your team as a creative, is like, you see worth when they won't see worth on both sides. Cause I guess I said it earlier, like, as a manager, I want to understand when they're going through something, how to pivot here and there. And the reality is managers go through shit too. And if your artist isn't understanding, and it's a two-way street of like, hey, I have a family emergency, I got to go do this now, and like this person is going to handle it on my team, or can you handle this on your own? And because of the work ethic on both sides, it's good. That's huge, because life is real for everyone. And I think, again, that understanding and that connection is like you becoming friends, or you were friends first. That's not easy to achieve if you don't really, really fuck with each other on a personal level. Yeah.
Speaking of life, something I wanted to ask too, and I'm asking you this very intentionally because you're someone that works really, really hard. And I'm not just saying that just as like a hollow compliment. It's like when I'm around you, I'm inspired because I feel like I work hard. And then I see you, I'm like, this motherfucker's working hard. Like I love like the grind, and I love just how like efficient your processes are. I've taken a lot away from it. And it's been awesome to like see and like be around.
Thank you.
But I want to ask how you find like a work-life balance within that. And I feel like this is something that I'm kind of struggling with right now. And I wasn't struggling with it before I became a manager. I feel like I was working really hard as an artist, and then I could easily just go, all right, I'm going to take the weekend off and do whatever I want, because no one is like depending on me to do anything really. It's like, if I don't get anything done for the next 2 days and I want to go fuck off and like not pay attention, I'm only fucking up my business, my world. It's my decision. I can come back to it, and then I'm back on the grind, like as an artist, But because now I'm managing artists, I feel like a sense of just like I have to be connected, at least to my phone or to my email. Like I have to be available. I have like a sense of responsibility, almost like a parent kind of like, where it's like, yo, I want to just like chill, but what if Abstract calls and needs this? What if Adam's texting me and he's asking for an update about X, Y, and Z? What if this agent sends an offer for this and then we don't get it because I was fucking taking a nap on a Saturday night? You know what I mean? It's like, how do you find that balance, or do you?
Yeah. First of all, man, you just step one. You can never take naps on a Saturday night at 5 p.m.
Dad's taking naps on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll say
I need a fucking nap. Like,
naps aren't allowed if you're gonna find a work-life balance. It's just
just once.
It's a really good question, and I don't have the solution. I think it's been a ebb and flow of my entire career of finding those things. But I will say, sometimes when it's frustrating and you're like, fuck, I'm just trying to like enjoy my life. And, I'm married. I have a wife. I have a responsibility that is my highest, first and foremost responsibility is my wife and my family. And I think that's what shifted more for me with getting married than anything else, is like putting that dynamic first. Not that it wasn't before, at all. My wife also works insanely hard, but we know when to shut off, and we know when to lock out. And like, these are the times and experiences that we need to embrace and just put our phones away. And I think and again, I don't have the solution. I think for me, being accountable and being, I have an office and I'm there every day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5:30-ish. So it's like knowing that I am always online most of the time when people need me, unless I'm, on a call and a meeting, all these things. I'm giving a majority of my week and my time. Do things fall out of those windows? 100%. I'm still working and I'm doing these things, at all hours on every day. But I think you have to pick your priorities, and you have to prioritize those. And I think it's just being selfish. It's okay to be selfish, as well as if you're an artist, it's okay to be selfish and be like, I'm doing this now. And I think that understanding is more key than anything. I think my gauge on, hey, this is
very important and urgent. If I need to get back to this, I'm going to, and I'll always be on. But if it's not urgent, nothing's going to fall through the wayside and you're not going to lose this, or this opportunity is not going to happen because you didn't. To me, that worry in music is way too, like, people make you feel like things are urgent when they're really not. And I think your gauge on that just has to be, you just have to learn through experience of what actually is urgent versus not, and what I can get back to tomorrow morning instead of at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday or whatever.
Totally.
Because all it is confidence in your work ethic to me. And I know I am doing my job. And if something doesn't get done within 5 minutes, it doesn't mean I'm doing a bad job. It just means that wasn't needed right then. But I'll always get it done. The people that people need to worry about are the ones that just don't do anything. Like,
this guy hasn't answered me in a week and a half. Where's he at? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, at least relating it to you, and I'm sure Adam can say the same thing, is like, you're a hustler, you work hard, and if Adam's bugging you at whatever time, I'm sure, one, you don't even see it as he's bugging you, but I also don't think he expects you to respond right away, for most of the time. And I think because of that relationship you guys have, and whatever artists that you choose to work with, that's important. I've heard so many stories and friends and artists that are managers that manage artists that are like freaking out on them for not responding at this time or that time, or calling them in the middle of the night. My sleep, do not disrupt my sleep, or I will be a bad manager. I will forget things. I will, not have the brain capacity of thinking outside of the box or constructing an email back that's going to be important. So if you're disrupting those moments of recharge, and you don't have that understanding as business partners, then you should reevaluate the situation. So, and I think it's just be confident that you're working hard and you're giving it your all. And if that's not enough for some people, that's fine. They can find someone else. But you'll find the people that really understand and respect and value you. But I appreciate the compliment, because at the end of the day, though, when I'm working hard and I'm doing things, whatever, it's because I fucking love it, and I want to see the best case scenario from it. And it's just how I'm wired. But I do feel very blessed that my roster, and, I have a business partner on the label side, and, we're able to tag team things. And, I have a team on the management side as well that can help now as things are growing and getting busier, that I don't always have to be the point person. But I think on that note is just, I still know I'm giving it my all. And in the moment I feel like I'm not, is the moment I feel like, okay, well, do I have to make a change now, whether that's on the roster or hiring help or whatever, because I still want to execute at the highest level. So it's a hard question because it's different for everyone, just like how fast some people can do things over another. Some task can take someone 5 minutes, or it can take another person 30 minutes. That's all relative. So I think it's just having a baseline of understanding, to me, is the most important. And then just, again, being selfish in the best way possible, where it's not hurting anyone.
No, it's good. It's really helpful. And I feel very very confident in my work ethic. I think a lot of it is like mentally I'm not able to check out, like even when I'm like, all right, I'm gonna chill now for the weekend. Like literally right now, it's Friday night, we're gonna go to dinner, we're gonna hang out. I'm gonna take the next couple days, not go super hard. I'll be available for stuff, but I feel like I'm constantly on like all right, I got to make sure I'm not dropping the ball, not only for my guys, but for myself and just like in life. And maybe that's just, I don't know. It comes in ebbs and flows,
Well, but I think but that's because you love it and you want to execute well. And that's why you do a good job and are able to support people like Adam who give a shit as well. But then at the same time, even when you do choose to check off and create time and space for yourself and all these things and parameters that you set as it continues to be busy, for things that matter in your life, you're also working with people who are going to understand that. So I never turn off either, 100%. I'll have some of the best ideas. I have a friend who gave me some of the best advice ever, is that some of his best ideas ever as a manager for his artists came from him turning off for the night and playing PlayStation. And I was like, find your PlayStation, whatever. So
Yeah.
if you're a gamer, if you're this, if you're doing this, these things, you have to find inspiration as an artist, as a manager, anyone. And so find that outlet. And like, even if you're not turning off during those times, it's important to be present. But when inspiration strikes through, because you're finally like, you've had that breath of fresh air after the day or the week or whatever, and you're like, whoa, this perspective or thought just came to me, and now you're excited to go and tell your artist or your manager or whatever. Those don't come if you're just burning yourself out and then you're exhausted and then you're like, I can't even think now.
Facts.
You know,
Yeah.
like the recharge is so important. It's so important. And I'm
think
still actively finding the way to do that. But
Yeah, same. That's kind of my point. That's why I wanted to talk about it too, because I know you
Yeah.
wouldn't have a perfect answer, but I just feel like
Mhm.
it's another perspective that, you know, people could take away and like maybe just, you know, we needed to hear too. Because I think me and
Yeah.
Adam both been feeling a little burnt out, and we're doing good stuff and we're busy and it's like good problems, you know, but it's just
Yeah.
like, all right, can we just fucking chill for a second? Like there's always, you know, and we're
Yeah.
about to go on tour and shit. So it's like, it's a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
nother can of worms. We got to figure shit out and logistics, you know, the vibes. It's a lot. It's a lot to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah,
Of
on one
course.
hand, it's like there's a bunch of shit that got to get done, bunch of shit to be done, and then on the other hand, it's like, but I also want to be doing those things from my highest ability to do those
Exactly.
things. You know, I
Mhm.
don't want to be just like coasting by and like, "Oh, I'm fucking tired, I'm getting it done, but maybe it's not the best it could be." You know, it's better to just find a system where you're like rested, you can approach things with like full capacity. Yeah, I think we're both working on finding that a little bit.
Yeah, I think for it, and then as well as on your and Dylan, but both of you guys being artists and creatives, you know, like when things get so busy, and I've seen through my artists is like when you're starting to treat like, oh, I have to get this song done because I have a deadline here. That's important to apply pressure and goals, but then when you're like creating just to for the sake of creating and not it's not coming from a place where you're like, this is what I want to talk about because I lived this and I just experienced this and now I can talk about it and people relate to that. If you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna write this song because it sounds cool and it's great and like hopefully people connect with it. If it comes from that place, the odds are it's probably not going to connect with people anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, take the time to live life and have experiences and even on the smallest of scales so you can be creative from a lens that it's real and it's, you know, it's talking about things that you really, really care about and believe in, because then you're finding the fans that care about those things too, and then they're going to ride or die for you forever, you know, instead of like, oh, this is just some shallow shit, like why would I be a fan of this, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because even before we fired up, you were like, yo, what are you working on? What, you putting out some new stuff soon? And I'm just like, I don't know, like I just put out the album, like I got some shit, but yeah, I need to like kind of recharge that and have it come from a place of, oh, I'm really excited to do this. Not like, I feel like I should be dropping something because it's been 3 months and like people might forget about me and the algorithm. And it's like,
no,
know,
that
so-
pressure I think is false. I
Yeah.
think it's good again to be consistent in however you're continuing to breathe life into your fans. But this is a one way you guys are doing that as well. You have different
Yeah.
outlets other than I have to release an album or release music right now. You're doing other things, which is very important. You know? Yeah.
Dylan, have you ever considered drinking a handle of vodka and figuring it out?
I haven't. Well, I have considered it, and I came to the conclusion very quickly.
That it's not for
Because-
you.
Maybe people that listen to this podcast don't even know that, but I've never had alcohol in my life, so that was the joke that we all laughed at. But no, I don't think that's my solution.
Yeah, Dylan, for the listeners, Dylan is a lifelong no alcohol, no nicotine, no drugs, no substances. I mean,
Couple-
he'll have a
couple
Diet
Zevia.
Coke every now and then. Yeah.
Couple
Yeah.
zero sugar ginger ales.
I need a bev. I'm gonna come in. I'm in your space real quick, Dylan.
So it's a good inside joke. We like to hit a good, you know, drink a bottle of vodka, figure it out, go take some acid or something. Oh my God, how'd he get there? I thought this was a remote podcast.
Hilarious.
That's good stuff.
But no, I mean, we're all slowly figuring it out. I think that the whole combo of like the balance, it's like, it's important to have, but yeah, at the same time, it's like you kind of just got to let things be what they're going to be and just do your best, you know? Oh, you heard that?
Love
For
that
those
sound.
for those that didn't believe, we were actually in the same house. Now we have evidence. And also,
Yeah.
cherry float Coca-Cola.
Dude,
Never tried it.
Whoa.
I took a swing on that one. I never had it before either, but it's not bad.
Let me see.
It's the only one I have in here that's
Can we get a
not.
live review?
Yeah.
That's good. You know why I like it? Because it tastes like cherry vanilla Coke. I don't know why they just don't say it's cherry vanilla Coke, because it would be like probably vanilla ice cream is a cherry Coke float.
Well, I wouldn't have
But,
bought it because I would have been like, yeah, I've already had that. But I got that because I was like, fuck it, let's try
So
something
now
new.
I'm
now they're just getting you in another way with the same flavor. But
That's
I
the
love
only-
cherry vanilla Coke. So
That's the only beverage I have in this little fridge that's not zero sugar. So that's the one I take when I'm like really trying to go fucking crazy, you know?
yeah, I'm trying to go insane right now, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Luckily it's Friday night, so
Real quick, before we get out of here, Dylan, I just want to go back to the drinking thing with you. Can you share with the people, do you remember what our bet was? We have an ongoing bet that I remember. Maybe you don't remember, but I hold this bet very close to me.
why don't you say it? Because I don't know if I do remember.
Okay, the bet was, so you've never drank, you don't drink.
I do
that.
know what it is. Go ahead.
The bet was, if at any point in my career you make $1 million from managing me, you will get hammered with
In
me.
1 year.
In 1 year. Yeah. In one calendar year.
One
if
calendar
you
year. My commission from Adam Yokum has to be above $1 million.
Yeah.
And I'm getting
Nice.
fucking rocked.
If that happens, I hope to God I'm there with you.
Dude,
yeah.
it might
We're gonna
happen.
have a party.
I think we made that bet like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I love this.
Lock in, brother.
It
Lock in.
feels
Your time's
way
coming.
more possible right now than it did 2 years ago. And I'm getting a little worried.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little worried, guys. I wasn't planning on drinking the alcohol, but now.
No, I don't even care about music. I really want to get this guy drunk.
Yeah.
It's like my only motivation.
That's hilarious. Do we have a hard cutoff because it's been an hour, or because I have one question for both of you that I would love
Yeah,
to hear.
my mom said we can only do 1 hour, so
Oh,
we
I
gotta
knew
be
it.
Yeah,
done.
no,
All right.
there's no hard cutoff.
Okay,
Nah,
bye,
whatever.
guys. Well, I was just gonna. I think through these years of discovery for me and like learning and growing in the music industry, I've always tried to be like, why am I doing this? What's my like guiding light
Dude,
in
that's the
my
last
craft?
question I have on here.
It? Really?
It says, why do you do what you do?
Well, perfect. I beat you to the punch.
That's how I
And
wanted
now-
to end this. That's crazy.
Amazing. So then I'm gonna pose that to you guys first, and I'm happy to answer as well. But I'm more curious about you because, one, Adam, obviously this is our first time meeting virtually, but just as a creative, like, what do you want your fans, your super fans, to connect with, and why they should be fans of you, and what you're looking to, why at your core, what makes you want to be creative? And Dylan, for you too, I think it's two-part answer of like why you are creative and also why you're supporting people like Adam and you're on the management side. So take it away.
Go ahead, Adam.
Mine, I feel like in the last couple of years has become much more clear to me. My why is my why now is helping other people navigate their life through music or navigate whatever they're going through, whether that's a bad time or a good time. I think a lot of times people say that and you just assume like you're here to help through a bad time, but for the good times as well. That's my purpose really. Like I think for a long time I was like, I make music for me, like it's a kind of like a therapy for me. But I also came to the realization of like, if you're making music for you, why ever put it out? Like, why do I hit an upload button then? Because the moment that you hit the upload button, it's no longer for you. It's for everybody else. And
Yeah.
so if my dream is to grow this career and ultimately make the music for more people, I think it was a big key for me to ask, why do I want this music to be for other people? You know, why am I putting the music out? And that is the thing that's what is fulfilling to me. Like, you know, people come to the shows and they're like, man, like I just, you know, I went through a breakup and I just couldn't see the light out of it. And I found your music and it just like shifted my whole mindset. That's really it for me.
Love it.
I've never grown up wanting things like items. Like I never cared for like cars, houses, all that shit. Um, it's just, I don't know. That is what, at the end of the day, when something like that happens, I feel a feeling of like, wow, that's just cool. That's what I'm in it for, like a fulfillment, I guess. So, yeah, just that, just helping other people is my why.
Love
Um,
it.
yeah, that's it. That's really all it is. And when I talk about scaling the career and scaling the business, like obviously money is cool. Like I'm not one of those guys that's like, fuck money. Like I don't know. Obviously everyone needs money, and the more money you get, you're gonna live a more comfortable life, and I'm down with that, you know? But
Yeah.
ultimately, when I talk about scaling my career, I'm excited about reaching more people and influencing more people in a positive way. Like just kind of like a I guess like a cultural like shift of energy. Like I don't know, the more just like, you know what I mean? The world has so many especially with social media, there's so many like guiding voices out there. I don't know, I guess I just have a dream to like guide people in a positive way.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's
that's it
that's
for me.
the super selfless of you, and I applaud that. Uh,
Thanks, dude.
yeah, that's great because you're only getting fulfilled if these people are connecting with it, other than and like you're able to see how it's helping people. I think it's important to do it for yourself, obviously, but like the goal is to see other people relating to it, and that's a beautiful thing. So I respect that a lot.
And also it's helped me be like, you know, there's no way that I can lose. Like I think if my goal was to like make X amount of dollars or have a millions of fans, if the goal was like numerical based, then I
Yeah.
could go to a show of mine and there's 70 people there and I could feel extremely defeated and be like, man, I'm not blown up, like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
this big thing I thought I was. But when my goal isn't that in the first place, when my goal is just like helping other people, I don't give a shit. I go to a show and there's 70 people that are stoked and have these stories about how my music helped them. I leave there feeling like I set out to do what I wanted to do. You know what I
For
mean? It's just
sure.
like, and in reality, it's the same situation. The 70 people there are at that show, regardless of how you're viewing it. I just feel like I live life in a more peaceful way, viewing it and wanting the things from it that I do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Beautiful. I,
Dylan.
I think I think my answer is it's somewhat similar. I think it's more geared towards like, well, first of all, I've been making music for half of my life, basically. Like half of the years that I've been on Earth, I'm like accustomed to singing or rapping into a microphone and trying to make a thing out of it, you know? So it's like, it's kind of just ingrained in me and it's part of what I do, regardless of whether I was going to, let's say I just decided to stop putting music out. I feel like there's no part of me that could just not create songs because it's what I know how to do. Even if it was just once a month, like pulling up an instrumental and just rapping and talking some shit. Like it's literally like in my blood. Like it's what I know how to do. It's where I feel most comfortable to express myself. So in that way, like it is selfish because it's like I'm supposed to, like I feel like I'm put on earth to do that, whether I become rich and famous and a huge thing. Like that's what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? So
Yeah.
one is like to fulfill my purpose. That's like big part of it for sure. But then others is like creating a moment for somebody and being a part of somebody else's life. I remember being on tour and there's couples that I met that got married to my song. People that came up to me like, yo, I was cracking my shorty and I was playing this song. Like it's
Crazy.
I know it's like funny, but it's like that's a moment to somebody. Like that's fire, you know?
For sure.
Or like, hey, I went through a breakup and this really helped me like navigate it because you said this in this song. Or you know, like on some of the rap shit, yo, I graduated college and I threw a big fucking party and like we played your music all fucking night because we were celebrating. It's like people are gonna remember those moments, and it feels like you're just of service when you're able to play a part in someone's life that way, you know? So partially it's just like, this is just what I do. I'm never going to stop doing it. It is what it is. It's who I am. And then, yeah, the other part is, like Adam said, once you hit upload it, it's no longer yours. And hopefully those songs create a moment for somebody out there.
Well, then I feel like too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the second half of your answer directly relates to why then you're helping Adam and your other artists like on the management side, because you're wanting to help them create moments for their fans and their people and their careers.
Exactly.
And I think, and that's a great thing as well. I love that.
Yeah, full circle when we talked about how I asked you to take a meeting and just like, let me pick your brain about, should I be a manager? What are some things I need to know like before I start? And like a lot of what you told me was like, dude, you've been doing this for yourself the whole time. Like there's no like secret code or like trick that you need to know. It's like you just need to work hard and be a good communicator and like try to understand what that artist needs and all these things, right? And when I started working with Adam or like kind of presented it to him, I felt like it was what I like needed to be doing. And maybe that's because we developed a friendship where I knew like we trusted each other and there wasn't much going on, you know, in Adam's like life of an artist at that point. It was like he had some dope music and he was trying to figure it out, but there was no like money being made. There was no tours. There was no like any of this. And felt in my soul that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do a perfect job, but I feel like I need to be the guy to help him get to where he needs to go, because this motherfucker has a lot to say and he's doing things for the right reasons. And I just have 8 years ahead of him in life and an experience of like things that I fucked up or like things that I wish differently, or things that I executed really well that we can apply or not apply to, you know, what he had from kind of almost like a blank canvas in terms of what the world knows. Like he was already making music for a long time and he was like dope, but nobody knew what the fuck nobody knew anything. So it was like, okay, how do we package this, present it? How do we get Adam to be as consistent as we can? How do we just like make this shit happen? And I felt like a level of responsibility, even though, you know, the world didn't tell me that, but I felt it inside of me.
How do we make the most fire hats in merch history?
Yeah, exactly.
And then don't share them with anybody.
And then don't give them to your friends and your closest people.
And I think that's partially too because I'm not like a typical artist manager, obviously because I'm an artist myself. So I think I just have more on my plate where like I'm not actively trying to find artists that I can manage or like turn into superstars and shit. You know, it's like if I don't know you and have a personal level of interest in what you're doing, kind of like what you were saying before, it's like, it's not that I don't care, but I'm just not really interested in what you have going on until I am. Like I have to be in, you know? So yeah, the why for that is just like trying to help my guys win. You know, I really feel like I win when he does, or Abstract or anybody else I work with. Like I love seeing people execute an idea and be like, yo, we fucking did it. Like it's so sick.
Yeah.
100%.
It's the best.
Love that.
We were it just made me think of this whenever Dylan was talking about people making love to his music. We were saying that
you phrased it a lot better, for sure. I agree.
Yeah. We were saying if Dylan ever tours and then he goes back and there's less people at a city than what were previously there, you could pretty much always blame it on those people got pregnant.
Yeah, they have to watch their kid now. That's why they didn't come back.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't come back to
I
the
think
show
there's
because you
a
had parenthood duties. Yeah, for sure.
there's a good like you should
I feel
honestly,
like
dude,
that's
you
the
know
wrong
what you should
approach,
do?
actually.
I just had a genius idea, bro. You got to take this idea. At your shows, you got to make people sign a waiver that if they leave that venue pregnant, it's not your fault.
Fire.
I love that.
Actually, you might
Also,
do that.
though
Yeah.
you should say if you do though, you get to come to my shows for free for the rest of your life and bring your kid with you.
If
If
you
you get
do,
pregnant
though,
to my music,
I'm taking commission on that kid.
Hey.
I own your kid.
Nice.
I
Whatever
own your
job,
firstborn.
whatever
Yeah.
job your kid has, I need a percentage.
Yeah, of course, because you're a
I
snake,
made that
bro.
kid.
You're just in it. You're just in it for the money, bro. For sure.
I'm the worst.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Oh, let me get my greedy little paws on it.
There's something to that, bro. There's something to that.
There is something to that. I like that. It's funny.
Oh my God, bro, I got it. We got to write you a song called OGBYN because you brought so many babies in this world. You may as well be an OGBYN.
Unfucking real.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
God. We'll work on that.
All right.
I like that. That's hilarious. That's
Jordan,
hilarious.
before we dip, I want to hear your why to
Okay.
everything that you're doing.
For sure. I would say in the past year, it's become very clear to me. I kind of did some soul searching at a point last year and kind of landed on. I feel like through my life, I've been a connector in general of just like, I go visit my hometown, after I've moved to LA, and I hit up all my friends and we all meet up in the same place, and I, get to see them together and we experience that moment in life together instead of like having to be, so, I have to see this person at this time. It's like, I don't care if you know each other or you don't, or how if you know each other through me, then I respect these people enough to put them in the same room. And I think that fulfills me more than anything, is to be around people that I personally love, even if they don't know or love each other, but so I think through that sentiment of knowing like that, I feel like is my purpose in life, is like how I can then apply that through my personal life and my work and all these things. And so, like I said, like personal life, it's very like friends, get people together, gatherings, like experiencing life and moments with the people I love around me. Through, my team and my work, it's like cultivating a team of people who we all, see eye to eye and we want to see each other win together. And then through my artists, it's like my roster is one thing, on the label side and the management side, like cultivating these rosters of people that I feel like are very special and have something cool, and then helping them more like long, forward thinking of like my job as a manager is how I can build fan bases for my artists, which is building a community of people that have then come together, whether they meet or they don't meet, through their music or their pipeline. And I think having that goal is like, and way of fulfillment has been, since I kind of shifted and like, being like, yeah, that's why I got into this in the first place, and why I find fulfillment in this job is like, it's been a beautiful thing, shortly after I kind of consciously came to that realization and kind of have moved forward with that in mind ever since, is like, we started this jazz night for the label that we throw every month, and like we seeing it grow so great and like consistently, and like amazing people coming out, and like, and the fulfillment I see not only from the pianist that puts the jazz night on with us, of just him being like, how in the hell are these people here for me, whatever. And it's like, then I get to also then see my friends once a month, for sure, like whatever, or just like see people then like discover him or meet people that they haven't met through that pipeline. It's like, it brings me so much joy. And so any way I can do that through anything that I'm doing, I feel like there are direct ways through my job and my career, and like I said, my personal life, that I can continue to breathe life into that. So I think that's my why, is just like be a vessel of connection and community. And I think I can't lose in that way. So
I love it, man.
Love it.
We're just 3 wholesome guys. We should all be friends or some shit.
I think Adam and I established we're going to be really good friends now, but you might be around sometimes.
We were tapped in, but now we're locked in.
For sure.
Ollie Joseph quote, classic.
As Ollie Joseph would say. We were tapped in, but now we're locked in.
Love it.
Thank you so much for being on the pod. I think there's a lot of good takeaways for people, and I personally just enjoyed this conversation. You know, it's dope to have a platform like this because, you know, we hang out. I haven't seen you in a bit. We were on tour. You were, you know, traveling, whatever. But, like, we hang out. Sometimes we're just kicking it. Maybe we're watching basketball or just chilling. And, like, we don't always dive into, like, stuff like this, you know? I mean, sometimes we do, obviously. But it's a good, like, just catch up and refresh. And, yeah, I feel like you gave a lot of game, hopefully, for other artists that are tapping in. And, yeah, man, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want to keep paying me $10,000 to be on this, you just let me know. I'm happy to do it.
You do know you owe me $10K, right?
You do know you owe me $10K, right?
You do understand that. That's why I'm here. No, dude. It's. I think it's like a no-brainer for me when you hit me up to do this. It was like, I mean, we'd talk shop and shoot the shit anytime. So if I can do that, and also again, finally meet Adam more officially and just like be in the mix, and however, man, I love it. So thank you guys for having me, honestly.
Yeah,
honored.
dude, thank you for coming on here. It was a pleasure meeting you on here and chatting. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person whenever I'm out in LA.
Absolutely.
In April, pretty
420
soon.
blaze it.
So,
420.
420 blaze it. Be there for a couple days before we leave for tour as well. So
Perfect.
maybe
We'll have some whiskey then, for sure. Absolutely.
There. Yeah, I'm whiskey curious for sure, dude.
Love it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Should we wrap it up here? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think so.
You guys are about to go to dinner, right?
Yeah. We're about to hit Chili's, dude.
Yeah, we're going to Chili's.
That plate. Send me a picture of that plate. You know I gotta see that.
We're meeting the boys at Chili's. There's like 35 of us. They're all waiting for us.
Yo, pull up Chili's Friday.
There's like 35 of us. Yeah, they've been waiting on us for like
all
an
getting
hour.
All getting the trio or whatever the fuck that thing that's going viral these days is. The sample plate platter or something.
It's got like 60 of those. We're just gonna split them.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we're actually going to the High-Low where we're playing our show.
We're going where you guys are playing the show. Yeah.
No way.
We're just going to have some dinner and kick it with our homie. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you should. I mean, I was joking about sending me a picture of Chili's, but will you actually send me a picture of the inside of the venue? I'm just curious.
I got you.
To see what it looks like.
All right.
Well, fellas.
Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll see you next week, as always, every Wednesday. This has been the Soundcheck podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.